So, last time in the City of Liars, you guys went and watched a race. Got to see Race of Eight Winds, a yearly racing event, which the competitors all ride flying mounts and fly their way through the towers of the city. It was a pretty spectacular event since the prior champion crashed his mount suddenly and eliminated himself from the race and possibly eliminated his racing career forever. You guys were approached by a man shortly after who called himself Vikar Kavolsund, who, for whatever reason, wanted to launch a private investigation into the crash that took place during the race to discover if there was any wrongdoing. He offered you 1,000 gold to identify a cheater, assuming you have enough solid evidence to prove it. Vikar also happened to have a collaborator working with him, a man named Rui, who is the city councilor for Middle Dura. Also happens to be able to transform into a giant owl at will. Ruit was a witness to the catastrophe, and through a sort of magic ritual was able to show you his memory of the event, which showed some oddities. One of which was one of the competitors, an elvish woman named Nalea, apparently gave up first place in the race to who would have been the runner-up, Klimek, who you found out was a member of the Boromar clan. So you decided to question Phoenix, the prior champion, the one who got injured. He seemed pretty upset about it and very adamant that there is no natural way he could have lost control of his mount, who died, by the way, and wanted revenge on whoever was responsible. You guys then decided to follow up on the lead with Nalea, to speak with her at her residence, but it seemed like she was not cooperating. Did not seem to want to talk to you guys. And that led to a almost violent confrontation where she demanded to know who hired you, why you were asking questions about the race. And you guys decided to back down from that confrontation, and most of you left, but a couple of you stayed behind to stake out her house, see if she went anywhere. So we're continuing on that night. I believe it was Remy and Ari who had to stay behind, right?
Yep.
While Mitra and Jax decided to return to Myriad Mysteries. So, you guys are currently crouched behind some bushes in the garden out in front of the property that your friends just got kicked out of. are waiting. At first, it seems like Nalea goes back into her residence after the rest of you left, seemingly like turning in for the night. How long are you guys gonna wait there for?
I mean, I think I've established I go to bed pretty late, so I'm willing to wait here for a minute. What about you, Remy? How long you feeling to stake out for?
I don't sleep.
Perfect.
All right.
I'll give you blessing of the trickster, just so we'll be ready to move.
Doesn't that only last like an hour or something?
Nope. It's until I use the feature again
Wait,
or
really?
do a long rest. Yep.
What? That
Yeah.
sounds wrong. Did they change it?
I don't know if it got changed from 2014.
Yeah,
Trickery Cleric
probably.
was such a joke back then, but it's definitely no longer a joke.
Yeah, it's
I'm,
dope.
yeah, I'm looking at that. That has to be different. I don't remember it being that strong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
'cause it was
actually think you're
terrible in
right. It used to be an
2014.
hour, but yeah, now it's indefinite
That's
until I used it
crazy.
again.
That
I mean,
is.
what is it really though? Advantage on a stealth check, like
Yeah, which
For
cancels
one
out
single
Remy's
person.
disadvantage.
yeah, that's not crazy.
Forever. And
It's for a
there's no
day.
cost to it. Like you can just
I mean,
It's
you
change
also
the
really
get a
good to
target.
certain
pair with
number
a
of them.
rogue,
You can just change the
I
target
will
of it at
say.
will at no cost. Like you
You
can
don't
just
get it
And it's
infinitely, do
concentration
you?
free.
you can just swap it to anybody at any time for any reason.
Is it infinite? You can just do it as many times as you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. I
Yeah,
assumed
it's
you
a
had like
level
three
1
of them
class
or
feature.
something, 3 or 4 of them a day or something like that.
That's crazy. Okay,
So the
so
trickster's blessings are with you.
the traveler's blessing is on Remy. So you guys just relax, I guess. Sitting around for hours. Nothing really happens until around midnight, you think? Seems like the lights in the house begin to dim. Like whoever's inside is getting ready to retire for the night. And about 30 minutes after that happens, you see from one of the upper windows on the residence, it opens, and Nalea jumps out and lands behind a bush next to her house. She's not wearing the same clothes she was wearing before. She went from wearing a pretty dress to now wearing a long sort of trench coat over her body, uh, and a hat that conceals at least the top of her head. And she gets up, dusts herself off, begins to quickly walk away from the residence into the district at large.
Once I believe she's out of earshot, I'd like to cast Pass Without a Trace.
Okay. Go.
Alright. Alright. Cast a spell. The Traveler's Shadow envelops us. Let's tailor Remy.
So now you have advantage and plus 10 on your stealth check?
Remy has advantage and plus 10. I just have the plus 10, along with my baseline plus 5.
How long does that
Nice.
last for?
That's 1 hour concentration.
1 hour. Okay. So, are you guys gonna start tailing her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna shift weave / shape change into an elven woman wearing my silver purple dress.
Into wait, sorry, you shifting into who now?
And just a generic elven woman
Okay.
wearing a silvery purple dress, more appropriate for this district.
Okay. So, you guys need to make stealth checks.
All right, so that's a 24 for me.
And if I can get it to.
Oh, there it goes. All right.
So,
You had advantage, by the way. I don't think you rolled with advantage.
well, I have disadvantage. So then
Oh,
that
okay.
advantage, straight roll.
Got it.
But then Blessing of the Trickster, well, they don't stack. But also, what gives you disadvantage?
Heavy armor.
Well,
Why are you wearing heavy armor?
Got to be ready for battle.
yeah, man. It's also like
Why aren't you
integrated into
wearing
his
heavy
body.
armor?
Because I'm not
Yeah,
proficient.
he'd be naked without it. Can't take it off.
But yeah, that's a 23. Oh, 23, 20. So you guys follow a good distance behind her as she walks through mostly empty streets of Shalias. Doesn't seem like anybody's out or around. Around or about. What am I trying to say? Doesn't seem like anybody is out and about at this time of hour. This time of night. So you guys see her begin to check several times, like over her shoulder. It looks like she's actually kind of paranoid about someone following her. If not you guys, you don't know who. But she doesn't seem to see you guys. You blend in with the streets and look relatively inconspicuous. You follow her a ways as she approaches the edge of the district. You can see that she is stopping at a sort of an overlook point, and seems to be trying to wave down a sky coach. Is there anything you guys wanted to do
Sure.
while she's doing that?
I'm gonna turn to Remy. All right, if we let her get on that sky coach, there's no way we follow her. We got to figure out a way onto the sky coach with her.
Well, neither of us have been seen.
Right. I could turn invisible and hop on to her, but I'd have to leave you behind. That's about all I really know to do.
Well, following her is the primary objective. Can I find a pebble on the ground?
Sure.
Okay. I want to pick up this pebble and give it to Ari. And I'm going to remember this pebble so that later I can track it with my locate spell.
Ooh, genius. Well, Perfect then. Maybe try to hail a sky coach about a minute after us. And with your tracking abilities, you should be able to follow us that way. We'll meet up there.
Yes, sounds like a plan.
All right. I'm going to drop Pass Without a Trace to switch to invisibility and give myself Blessing of the Trickster.
Okay. So you
And
turn
I'm going to make my
invisible.
way up real close to her.
With your muffled footsteps, it doesn't seem like she's able to hear you as you next to your blessing of the trickster. I guess Remy, you're just gonna walk off.
Yeah, kind of just wait behind a minute for them to leave, see if I can find another sky coach to follow them with.
Okay. So they a few minutes later, a sky coach slowly hovers down next to the platform that Nalea is standing on. He boards it, and I guess you're just gonna board it right behind her.
Yep.
All right. So he gets in a seat on the back of it. Tells the driver, pilot, I guess you would call them. Never really thought about that. What would you call a sky coach?
I think
Yeah,
pilot makes sense.
his pilot.
He tells the pilot to head towards Dagger Watch. Yeah, Dagger Watch. And the sky coach pulls away. Begin to float through the city. The night lights passing by as you do. Remy, you see them take off, and are you just gonna immediately try to hail a sky coach too?
No, I'm going to wait a few minutes, give them time to start getting towards the destination. Because I don't know how long it'll take to get from where we're at to wherever they're going. And locate object doesn't last that long. It's a 10-minute spell.
Right, but you don't know where the sky coach is going.
Right, but I don't need to know because I can cast locate object and I'll know where that pebble is.
What's the range on that?
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet.
That's not as far as you think.
It's like 3 football fields.
Yeah.
It's a good distance, but not the entirety of
Yeah.
Sharn kind of distance.
Then yeah, I guess pretty quickly I'll try to find my own taxi to follow.
Alright, so you quickly hail a sky coach. I assume casting the spell as you do?
Yes.
So you cast the spell, and sure enough, you have a mental approximation of the other sky coach in relation to you. And another sky coach lands next to you, and you hop on. You're just gonna tell them to go in that direction?
Yeah, I'm gonna give them active directions as we fly, assuming that they're, turning and shifting directions themselves.
Okay, well, I assume once you get within eye shot of the other one, you can just tell them, like, follow that one.
Yeah.
Alright. So you have your own sky coach following theirs. And, sure enough, they're heading towards the complete opposite end of town, in Upper Dura, district of Daggerwatch, which, yeah, they dock at a small balcony that lets them off somewhere in that district. You land shortly after, and you don't even lose eyesight of Nalea during that whole process. She's not traveling that quickly, so you're able to keep pace pretty well. But you no longer have Blessing of the Trickster. You no longer have the other thing, Pass Without Trace. So I guess you'd have to follow from a distance, but you can do that with the locate object. Like, you don't have to be very close.
Yeah. I want to be close enough to see her, but maybe not. I don't need to hear. I just need to be able to see.
Okay, well, you can
Yes.
see her from a good distance away as she's walking down the street and turns into a familiar townhouse. The same townhouse where Phoenix lives, the one you were just at earlier today. And she
Odd.
knocks on the door. Ari, I assume you're like right behind her.
Yeah, maybe like 10 paces back, just to not be breathing up on her, but I'm quite close.
All right. So a few minutes pass. She's just like hurriedly knocking on the door, and she's like checking her shoulder from like side to side the whole time. Seems like she's looking out for somebody. But eventually, the door opens, and that old gnomish woman approaches. She's like wearing pajamas, and she's like rubbing her eyes. Oh, dearest, what is it? It's so late. Oh, it's you. I assume you want to talk to Phoenix? She just like nods her head, and she's like, "Yeah, please, you wouldn't mind." And then the gnomish woman just allows her in. I assume you're gonna walk in behind her.
Yes.
Okay. As soon as you have just enough time to squeeze in the door behind her before the old woman closes the door and locks it from the inside. So I guess for the moment we'll switch to Remy. You see them enter the townhouse. The door closes behind them.
At this moment, going in would be a very bad idea for me because there's no way I'm sneaking in there. So I'm just going to kind of keep my distance and keep an eye on the doors, make sure that if anyone comes out, I can follow where they're going.
Okay. So you post up outside, keeping an eye out. But I assume not too close?
You're right, close enough that I can see the door and I can see somebody come out, but not close enough that it would be obvious I was watching the door.
Okay, well then it's also not close enough where you could hear anything from inside.
Correct. I am right now putting my faith in Ari and being there just in case anything goes down.
Alright. So while you're doing that, we'll go back to Ari. Ari, you can see that old woman go back over to a couch and begin falling asleep again. And Nalea walks up the stairs, Phoenix's room. He knocks on the door, and he just says, "Ugh. What?" And you can hear Nalea say, it's me, open up." And the door opens, and you can see Phoenix standing there with some difficulty, still wrapped in bandages, and allows her to enter the room before closing it behind her. At this time, you don't have enough time to actually slip in unless you want to make a... I'll say you can make a sleight of hand check.
Ooh, sleight of hand? Then if it's sleight of hand, I will refrain. And instead I'll just press my ear up to the door.
Okay. So... couple moments, you don't hear anything. Then you can hear them sort of softly talking on the other side. It's kind of hard to make out what they're saying. The door is muffling it. Make a perception check.
Alright. Big money. Nah, small money. Just a 14.
Just a 14 is pretty decent. That's 4 above average, all right? Good rolls don't have to be 20s.
Okay, so you only catch bits and pieces of their conversation. But it sounds like at first Nalea is like apologizing for something. He sounds distraught. But Phoenix comforts her. Then you can hear her start to asking him questions. Specifically, the one you catch on is, did they already speak with you? And he tells her yes. He starts asking questions, but these ones are too quiet. You can't quite make out what they're saying. How long are you gonna stay there in the doorway?
My plan is to I think at this point I'm gonna want to hear from Fenix what they talked about, so I'm waiting for her to leave, and I'm gonna try and sneak in there.
Okay. Well, a few minutes pass, then 30 minutes pass of them just softly talking to each other. Eventually, you hear from the other side, I can't, not tonight. It hurts too much. And then a few moments later, you hear them say goodbye to each other, and the door opens, and Nalea walks out and makes her way down the stairs and leaves.
All right. Yeah, at that point I will try to get into Fenix's room.
Okay. You're gonna try and open the door softly?
Yeah.
Okay, then you can either make a stealth check or a sleight of hand check.
All right, I'll make stealth since I still got my blessing of the trickster. Okay, so first roll's a 21. Second roll, not as good. So 21 total.
So you turn the angle to the door ever so slightly and slowly as not to produce any noise, and silently open the door. Just enough for you to get in. You can see that Phoenix is in his bed again, laying in his side. It seems like he's trying to sleep. Hasn't noticed you.
All right, I gently close the door.
All right.
And I make my way over before softly whispering, "Hey, it's me, Ari."
Suddenly, his eyes jolt open and he scrambles in his bed. He's like, "Whoa, whoa!"
Be quiet. We can't be too loud.
He starts looking around the room slowly, and then he reaches for something on the edge of his bed frame.
I'm sitting right here on your chair. What did you talk about with Nylea?
You see him sit up in bed, clutching his side with one arm, and he pulls out a sword that was hidden on the edge of his bed frame out. Starts to stand up and look around the room.
There's no need. There's no need for that. Listen, I'm Ari, the investigator who was here earlier. Surely you remember me. There's only so many changelings you meet.
He kicks the chair suddenly with one of his legs and knocks it over with you in it, I assume.
Ow. Tumble to the floor.
All
right.
right. He starts like pointing the sword down at the ground.
What's wrong? Why are you trying to attack me? I'm trying to solve the case.
You want to talk to me? Show yourself right now.
Fine. And before I transform back, or I drop the spell, I'm going to transform back into being Ari. So, changeling face out, changeling clothes. It's me, like I said.
You're one of them. What are you doing in my room? How'd you get in here?
Quietly. That's how I did it. But I'm here because I need to know what Nylea felt was so important to tell you in the middle of the night. She's been kind of shifty.
You followed her? Here? You were watching? Were you hearing us talk?
No, I was outside the room. I respect your privacy that much.
My fucking privacy. You're in my house. I didn't let you in here.
Well, you let me in here earlier. I'm on the case about the race. I thought it could be expected that I would be in here. Perhaps a little unexpectedly, but trust me, this is solely for the investigation.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Oh, big money. All right, first one is a 14. All right, not too bad. A 12 total.
He like looks at you. He looks down and he seems to be like deep in thought. And he was like, "Fucking right. You're with the Bormark clan, aren't you?" He like
What?
points the sword at your
No.
throat.
I would never work for them. They're terrible. They don't help the city at all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why the Boromar clan either laid a hit on you or did some sort of fuckery that cost you the race. But trust me, I am not here to hurt you. I'm only here to help.
Give me one good reason I trust you.
Because look at how injured you are. Do you not think if I was here to harm you, I wouldn't have just invisibly snuck up behind and stabbed my dagger through your throat? Think about that. I came here, blew my own cover, because I need you to trust me.
Okay, make another persuasion check, this time without disadvantage.
All right. Big money. 13. I would like to argue for a deception roll here because I would never harm a person. You know, that's just not Ari's way to kill someone while they're weak.
You're not trying to deceive him, though. You're just using rhetoric.
Ah, damn it.
He
All right.
he slowly lowers the tip of his sword, but he keeps it at the ready. Okay, you can tell me right now who you're working for.
I work for myself and my friends over at Myriad Mysteries.
Yeah, I know. You're an investigator. Who hired you?
A man by the name of Vikar Kvolson.
He raises one eyebrow. And who is that?
That's a good question. He seems to be a wealthy man, and he seems very adamant that something occurred in that fight that was out of the ordinary, and he wants whoever it was the culprit to be brought to justice and ideally banned from future racing.
Didn't we go to Phoenix's house with Bakar?
No.
No.
Oh yeah, that was right after Bakar. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Interesting. And so you're here because you were following Nalea.
Yeah, she was pretty shifty, wouldn't even really let us talk to her that much. And we were quite curious. We, from being honest, thought that she possibly was going to the Boromars at this hour. Little did we know, and much to our surprise, she came to you.
Interesting. So you didn't know?
I didn't know what.
About me and her?
No? What, are you two an item?
He kicks you in the leg.
Ow.
Item? No. Alright? You didn't see or hear anything tonight. Right, you're not gonna tell anybody a word about this shit.
Well, I think my partners will know.
Look, as long as this doesn't get out to the public, alright? Her family can't hear about this.
Certainly, but what exactly do you mean? I need to understand what I'm not supposed to tell people before I not tell them.
Make a persuasion check.
Fuck. Just a
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, that's on a need to know basis, and you don't need to fucking know. It's not your. Why do you even care? This has nothing to do with what happened to Whisper, alright?
Okay.
She was
But-
here because she was warning me about you fucks.
She was warning you about us.
Yeah, that you guys are shifty
What
as
threat
fuck.
does she... Well, listen. I can't speak for all of my friends. Some of them employ methods that I wouldn't necessarily feel so uncomfortable with. But I can assure you, we are here to help you. We are here because we care about this case and getting to the bottom of it.
She said to me that she's pretty sure you guys are with the clan. I'm inclined to believe her.
Personally, I think she's just trying to throw you off of her. Because I can swear to you, we've had no dealings with the clan.
He squints his eyes at you, examining you. Who the fuck you're working for? I don't like it. I don't like you shadowing me in my own house.
Well, to that I apologize. But if we didn't believe Nylea to be, well, shifty herself, I wouldn't have followed. But she was very indirect during our questioning. Didn't even want to be questioned. When fundamentally she was one of the people with one of the best vantage points to have seen what happened.
Well, if sneaking around into people's houses is how you investigate, it's no wonder she didn't want to talk to you.
Listen, you could not tell us what you discussed. I understand there's privacy there. If you can assure me that it was mostly about warning you about us, and I guess any personal affects that you two would have been discussing. But there's information pertinent to this case. I truly must ask that you share it with me. Else, no one will figure out what happened to Whisper and how you were fucked over in that race.
Did your mother drop you on a head as a child? Serious question. If I had a way, any information related to Whisper's death, of course I would have fucking told you. Alright? This has nothing to do with that. None of this does.
Very well. Then I bid you a good night.
I got you in my house again. He just holds up the blade. Won't hesitate.
I'd like to see you try. And with that, I'll walk out.
Alright. So, going back to Remy's perspective. You see, first, after 30 minutes, Alea walk out, start heading down the street. What are you gonna do about that?
Follow at a distance, try to see where she's going from here.
Your the locate object isn't going to be helping you anymore, so you have no magical advantage in this.
Correct. You said she was walking down the street. I mean, I can't assume at this time of night there's that many people walking down the street. It shouldn't be too hard to see her.
In fact, speaking of locate object, because of that is still active, you are very much aware that Ari is not in pursuit of her. That Ari is still in the townhouse.
Locate object's only a 10-minute spell.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Then I guess you
It
wouldn't
just
be
got
aware
there.
of that. Yeah, so you wouldn't know where Ari is currently. Probably just assume they're still invisible.
Yeah, assume still invisible and probably still following her.
Okay. So you start following Nalea. Roll a stealth check.
Oof.
All right, so you're following her what you think is a good distance away, kind of making your way through the crowd. But then you see her suddenly look over her shoulder and then bolt and just start sprinting down the street.
I'm gonna chase, I guess. Try and keep eyesight as best I can.
All right. So you start running behind her. You don't have anything that actually changes your speed, right? Your speed's at like 30.
Correct.
Okay. So you begin ducking, weaving as you pass by several people like walking down the street at night. As you see her running, people start looking over their shoulder uh, quizzically at both of you guys. Um, she begins to run to Dagger Watch Garrison. I'll allow you to make an athletics check to try and catch up to her before she could make it there.
Oh, damn.
+6, and I get an 8.
That's
Right, so
fucking brutal.
you're running as hard as you can, but suddenly somebody walks out from a doorway into the street right in front of you before you have a chance to react, and you clash into them and knock them to the ground. And when you look up, Nalea's already gone.
Damn it. I'm so sorry. And then I'll help up the person that I've knocked over.
Watch your fucking step, man! God damn. Fucking gearheads!
Remy's gonna apologize profusely and look around, see if he can find any trace of where she might have went.
It looked like she was heading in the direction of the garrison, but other than that, you have no idea.
Yeah, she's gonna go tell the cops that some fucking dude was following her. You need to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, at this point, I am hoping that Ari is still following, and I'm gonna head back to the Myriad.
Alright. Remy, you head back to Myriad Mystery, or somebody has a chance to call the guard on you. Ari, I assume you do the same after your conversation with Phoenix?
Yep. Quietly try to sneak out so as to not awake the gnome.
Alright, so Ari, you make it to Myriad Mysteries. It's like, 1 in the morning now. Is, Mitra and Jax just hanging out there for the night? What are they doing?
I would be kind of sitting around waiting for them to get back, honestly.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's somewhat like a we got like a little spot, like a, couch or something, some snacks, I'm sure.
Jack certainly
Uh-huh.
isn't there. He went home for the night. He wasn't even there when you
Alright.
arrived.
And we're camping out at the office.
Alright, so last to arrive is Ari as you walk through the door and see the other 3 sitting around in the office already.
Oh fuck! Look, he made it back.
Yeah. Good news and bad news. What would you rather hear first?
Bad news.
Phoenix hates me.
Eh.
Yeah. Called me a sneaker, said I was doing bad things, going into people's
Ari,
house without permission.
why don't you start from the beginning?
Well, so me and Remy were following, and we noticed Nylea was hailing a sky coach. I decided to turn invisible to get aboard her sky coach, while Remy followed us from a distance. We made our way to Dagger Watch before we were led to Fenix's home. I followed them inside and noticed that, hey, they're going to speak. I tried to listen in, but the door was pretty thick, and I couldn't get out too much. What I do know is that she asked them if did they already speak with you, the they referring to us, and it seems that Nylea is trying to claim we're working for the Boromars. Personally, I think she's accusing us of what she's doing. They discuss some more personal things, I imagine. The one thing is, Fenix was very vague on the details of what they discussed. He was much more focused on the fact that I technically broke into his home, but it's like I wasn't going to do anything bad. Like, I could have killed
I
him.
mean, did you
I
steal
don't know.
anything?
Did you talk to him after you eavesdropped on them?
Yes, because I wanted to know what they spoke about.
That may have been a bit reckless, dear.
People just don't appreciate my logic. It's okay, though. Well,
I mean, does he want
afterwards,
us to
she left,
figure it out or not? Like,
and then Remy, were you able to follow her?
Remy?
Sorry, I forgot I switched to push to talk. I attempted to follow her, but she noticed me and she managed to give me the slip.
How unfortunate.
Did
Which
Fenix
way was
say
she
anything
going?
else?
Well, after she noticed me, she kind of ran and I chased her. She seemed to be headed towards the garrison.
Sorry, Mitra.
Ari, did Fenix say anything else?
Besides accusing us of being sneaks and working for the Boromars, he said that nothing that they discussed could have possibly helped with investigating Whisper.
Seems suspicious.
Yeah, can I make a retroactive insight check as to whether I feel like he was just still being honest but angry, or if I think he was trying to hide something?
I'm sorry, if you wanted to insight check him, you had to at least say it during the conversation.
I mean, I can't reflect on the conversation.
Yeah.
You weren't examining him during the conversation, I assume, because you did say you were.
That's fair.
Ari, did you tell him that Nilea threw the race?
Well, we already gave him that theory when we spoke initially.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we did.
He was adamant that there's no way she would have done that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Disregard that. Disregard that question.
No, I mean, I
Did he
think
say
the most
why
curious
she-
part is that Nylea is accusing us of working for the Boromars.
Well,
Personally, I think that's quite intentional.
yes, she's trying to distract any suspicion away from her.
Did he say why in the middle of the night she decided to go have this conversation?
No, he was very evasive on that part of the conversation. He
You're not going to
refused
mention the part about, you know, her family not being allowed to find out?
Oh yeah, she did say that. I honestly did not know what that meant. But yes. He said something about her family being disapproving of something. Not he couldn't find out about something, but he wouldn't explain what that was.
It would seem they're quite close.
I'd have to imagine so. I asked if they were an item, but I just got kicked for my questioning.
Well, that's a rather bit of a tell, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Forbidden love?
He's a little old for her, maybe?
More likely she's a little old for him, statistically speaking, for an elf.
Oh, yeah. This
That
is
is
true.
curious, though. I mean, they're both successful racers. I don't see what the issue would be, but it is all the
And
more reason for her to try to divert suspicion away from her own actions in the race.
right, and I mean, he lives in Upper Dura, so he comes from some self-made money. Can't imagine they're that much higher class, but I also don't understand those things that well.
Well, she lived in an estate. He lived in a townhouse. Those are very different quality of life.
Do you think
Okay,
it's
so
against the rules?
I could maybe imagine that being a rule, because it's quite hard to enforce not throwing when it's your romantic partner in the race. But
Well, that's the
still,
thing. She didn't throw for his benefit. She threw for the benefit of the halfling, who we have reason to assume has ties to the Boromar.
Oh, so she's honeypotting him.
No, what I mean is, the theory would be that the Boromar paid her off, intimidated her, etc., to throw the race on behalf of their favored racer. And potentially they also interfered to cast a spell on Fennec's mount. And she, of course, does not want Fennec to know this.
I wonder how long they've been a thing. If their whole fling is, genuine to begin with.
What if it's not the Boromar at all? What if it is her family? And they found out about their relationship. And this was her father's way of stopping them from being together, threatening his life, showing her what he could do.
Then why would she have thrown the race? I mean, as far as I could tell from the memory, it wasn't that she stopped because of his accident. I mean, it's not seem that, we saw the crossbow bolts. It's not as if it's the first time a rider fell into danger. And they have feather tokens for a reason. I'm not sure how necessarily surprised she was by what happened in the race.
That's true. And if she did supposedly feel this way towards him, you'd think she would be affected even a little bit watching him tumble into a building.
That's a good point. How often do these races happen? Do I know? Is this race
Well-
like huge, like once a year, once every 4 years? Like,
Yeah, it's a very big deal. It's once a year.
how big is the prize for it? How much money? What
Quite
is that
substantial, although I don't think your character would know the exact amount.
a roll history? See if I've heard about it or seen it on have advertisements. I'm sure, right? We watched the race. I would have seen winner of so much money, right?
They don't announce the cash prizes out. It's not actually meant to be centered around the money. More so supposed to be about the love of the sport or whatever. There is a prize of some kind, but it's not really disclosed outside of the circle of racers.
Do we know any other winners? Has
mean?
Hewitt ever won it?
I don't think he's
For
raced
that,
in some time.
you can roll a history check if you want.
Okay. 16. Man, I've not been rolling well today.
All right, you know that it was like 16 years ago when Rui last race, and back then he was known as like one of the champions. That was way before he ever became a city councilor. But he was a pretty famous racer in the race of 8 wins a long time, and was presumably a champion at least for some of them.
Okay.
Back in those days, you would know that the race was much less formal. It's actually only became as big and widely known as it is today as of about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
The race has existed in Sharn for like ever, but it hasn't had like international interest 10 years ago. It didn't become formalized in terms of its rules and structure until about the same time.
Huh. And also clarification, we're playing in the normal timeline, right? It's been 2 years since the end of the war, or has it been more?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years.
Okay, just making sure. Um, well, Hewitt has won it at one point. Maybe we can ask him what they got at that point, although the game's become a lot larger. So I wouldn't be
Especially stands to reason that the prize is impressive enough to cheat for.
right.
Yeah, but the accolade might be. For some of these people, this is their whole life, right?
Indeed.
For Fenix it was.
Mm.
Well, perhaps we can talk again to hear it tomorrow. Ideally, he's still in that park, but if not, maybe we can try sending a letter to him. I mean, he is a city councilor. Imagine he's open to letters.
He did
Into
say last
Um,
time you spoke that he would be at that park most evenings.
Okay, so we can see him tomorrow evening and ask some more questions about the race itself. And the prize. I also think it might be time we try to speak with Klimek, possibly go into Boromar territory.
If you think the first two racers have been disinclined to divulge. But
Well,
we must try, yes.
I think if we frame it correctly, we're simply trying to dispel rumors of involvement.
Ooh,
It would be good to confirm how aware he is that foul play was involved.
Yeah.
we could have that on the front page news and probably just one call. That lady seemed like she'd bite at anything sensational as that.
Let's see what evidence we can find first.
Yeah, and
Just a little
Fennec
thought of
seems like
maybe
he'd be
some
pretty
blackmail.
upset if this got out to the wider public. Seems he still wants to keep this a smaller affair. And I'm not keen to anger a victim more than once in an investigation.
Perhaps we could use that as leverage against Nalea and try speaking with her again and let her know that we know of their relationship. And if she doesn't want to cooperate with our investigation, then perhaps the news would care to know about it.
I would try leading with honey rather than the stick.
We've already tried that though, yes.
I'm not
I don't
sure
know.
about
I
Yeah,
think it was half honey. It's
half
kind
stick.
of yeah. Yeah, Jack's getting caught in the garden
Another
was
case of sneaking about.
yeah, sneaking about has not been our friend in this investigation.
that. So let's question the halfling first. And then
If we
after
can
that,
find
could-
him.
Well, let's see if he's at that party for the racers.
Yeah, he's
Party?
got to be there.
It was another race that he was supposed to be in.
Not a race, a Skyblade tournament.
No, yes, Skyblade. What was that?
Let's see
All
what we
right,
find
so-
at the tournament then.
When is the tournament?
Tomorrow,
Ruid
isn't it?
Ruid had said it was in a few days.
In a few days. Well, we don't need to solve this immediately. And I might possibly able to speak to some friends. Maybe some of them have helped out the Boromars.
Yeah, certainly worth making inquiries.
I mean, I can. Yeah, I'll go see what I can read. See what kind of books I can find on them. I don't know anything about the Boromar. I don't believe.
Okay. So are you guys gonna do anything else on this tonight, or you guys just call it a day? Go long rest.
Yep, go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm down to call it a day.
Gonna go stare at a wall for 6 hours.
Where does Remy stay? Like, where does he live?
I mean, I have
You
a.
can
I
live at the
assume I have a
business if
hotel
no one
room.
lets you live there.
Yeah, I have a hotel room you could kick it with. I get a hotel room next
Does
to
Remy
Yeah.
just like hang out in the streets
it. I would assume.
normally?
I mean, yeah, I don't need anything. I just kind of exist since I've gotten here.
That's
Is there
interesting.
Warforged parking in the city?
I don't know. I
Yes.
feel like Remy would like go and pretend to sleep, bro. Don't you? You know, OOC Bishop. I feel like Remy would like try to do you know,
You're right with what he's
be as
going
human
for
as
and everything. Yeah.
possible.
You haven't been in the city very long, so I don't know if your character would really know where most of the Warforged residents tend to hang out.
I'm gonna attempt to just crash with Jax.
Alright.
You joke, but in another game I played, House Jurassico was selling storage units as Warforged accommodations.
Hell yeah.
Because they're awful people.
Interesting. I mean, why would they need that though? They can just camp out in the street.
That's
Literally just walk
terrible.
up to any wall and stand against it,
That's
facing
even
outward.
worse. Besides, you'll rust. You
You
bring me
still
some
want
Sharn.
privacy.
Find a nice
It's the
awning.
dignity and principle of the matter.
Yeah. I'm
Listen,
assuming we could
everyone's
split
welcome to go
storage
to the
units.
Red Hammer in the Cogs.
Anyway, you guys each go to your residences and Have yourselves a nice long rest. The next day, where were you guys planning on meeting?
Go
Back at
to the office.
Myriad.
All right.
There you go.
Well, I guess you all meet back at Myriad Mysteries following morning. Jack is already there, going over paperwork. As you guys are meeting up to discuss the case.
Walk in. I'm like, so Jack, what do you think about having like a firehouse dog?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You know, get something to liven the place up. This place is fucking dreary. You ain't even got a window shade open. I like open the window shades. I'm like, we need like a dog running around to like be cool and like, you know, pet when we're feeling sad and shit.
This is a business. This isn't a fucking
Yeah.
hotel.
What are you
talking
disparaging fire departments, man? Come on, fire departments are the best people in the city.
I don't even know what a fire department is. What are you even talking about?
So no dog. You don't want a dog.
You can have a dog. I just don't want it in my fucking business. They're gonna shit on the floor.
He's
Not
gonna
good.
love the dog.
All right, but you're gonna have to clean up after it.
My dad said the same thing. He did that's now when I moved to college, I couldn't even take the dog with me. So like, you're gonna love him more than everybody. I can just already tell.
All right, whatever.
Oh, good morning, Ari.
Hey,
Hey, everyone.
that seems like a nice, cheerful way to start the day. I vote yes on dog if we're
I had
taking
a
it
little
to
bit
a
too much
vote.
coffee this morning. You know, sorry.
I've been trying to tell him to calm down all day.
Those two words never work.
You gotta calm up.
Well, so to find some Boromars,
So we got a
specifically
couple of days.
a racer. We know we'll find him there.
Excuse me, I just wanted to ask. Did you just say Boromar?
Yes.
What in
We're
the ever-loving
fairly
fuck?
certain they're involved.
Jesus Christ! And he just like rubs his eyes. Are you kidding me? Again, gang shit.
Listen. It's a shady city. You know that much. It seems that one of our racers, oh so out of the blue, claimed we were working for the Boromars. And the one who won, well, it's quite rumored that he himself has some ties. Given we know that she threw the race, I think the Boromars are more than certainly involved. Perhaps paid her off. Or promised her something.
Or threatened her.
As you talk, Jack just looks more and more annoyed. He's like, you know what's becoming crystal clear to me now? Why a rich man like Vicar would come to us for this case and not anybody else, any of the other investigative agencies.
Oh?
Because anybody else would be smart enough to avoid this.
Well, if you want, we can tell Mr. Gavorson to keep his 1,000 gold.
It is 1,000
I'd
gold.
be inclined, knowing what you know, but it's your case. I'm just saying. It's away if you want, but I don't want nothing to do with that.
I wouldn't back down just yet.
though we have another theory. Was it you, Remy, who shared the lovers' quarrel, the family drama idea?
Yes, the perhaps the parents of Nalea found out about her relationship with Finnick and forced this, but again, it still doesn't explain her giving up the race.
What's your last name?
I'm sure
look
we were
that
told
up.
it, but I didn't write it down.
Let's see if I have that. No.
Check the newspaper from the day after the race.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure one of us remember it. You know.
Jax, you seem
Well,
pretty
isn't
invested in this sport. You don't remember the name of the racer?
Yeah, say her name. I don't, can't remember everything, man.
wasn't she like related to the city council member in North Edge?
I don't remember.
Oh,
Or
yeah, I remember now. It was Belira.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Her family's, I think they're ironwood traders from Aernal.
So the rich merchant family, presumably.
Yeah. They, some of them live in Aernal still, I hear.
Oh. Perhaps I'm being overly generous, but arranging an accident interfering with a race seems rather beneath the dignity of any elves. Although they are often skilled in magic, are they not? It would explain their ability, what happened to the hippogriff.
Indeed. Perhaps they know of techniques allowing them to conceal their magic even better. I guess, would either me or Jax know, like, of ways of concealing magic?
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check if you want.
All right, big money. Okay, an 18 for me.
Alright, so both of you would be aware that such things are possible. They're highly coveted abilities, often employed by Assassin's Guild, like House Fjarlin and such. Um, very. It's not something that people can just learn how to do. It's something that only a very select few spellcasters have the ability to do, and the ability in general is a carefully guarded secret. I mean, the place you probably heard about it from is reading like spy thriller books. It's something that's possible, but like it's so rare that it's very difficult to conceive that um somebody who's racer would know that type of thing.
Hmm. Well, if they have any ties to House Fjarlin, then maybe they could have hired one of their special assassins to get the job done. But then again, it's more the work of fiction. I'm not too certain. Well, they are quite rich, Arany Ironwood traders. They could have the money for that.
So, are you guys planning on doing anything?
Well, do we want to try and meet some Boromars?
I think it might be best to approach. Jeez, what was his name?
Clemok?
I think it might be best to approach Klimek on more neutral territory, rather than barging into a Boromar bar.
That is fair. I can't exactly turn myself into a halfling, even if I can speak their language.
We could get like have you seen one of those horse costumes?
What? What?
You could be one of those dinosaurs that they ride around on, you know?
What the fuck?
You know, we would have the same amount of limbs, but I think it's a bit of a stretch.
Hang on, he might be cooking here.
Hmm.
Just gotta multi-class into druid real quick.
Could find what are they called? The dinosaurs? I forget. The ones that you mentioned them earlier in the campaign.
Clawfoot.
Clawfoot.
Clawfoot. Yeah.
A clawfoot race.
What?
Did the Vicar give us like a business card? He did, right?
He did. He did.
What does it say other than his name?
Hmm.
What is his place of business?
Says Cavolson Trading Company. And there's an address listed. It is in. It is in wait. Where is it? Ah, okay. It's in Ambassador Tower. Which
Oh, wow.
is somewhat unusual.
Yeah, isn't that mostly for, well, dignitaries and dragon-marked houses?
You're thinking of Dragon Towers. That's where the Dragon Mark houses have their enclaves, but Ambassador Towers is composed mostly of embassies and consulates and a few other buildings, like there's the Brelish Museum of Fine Art. It's a very high class neighborhood. The Middle Central.
No, Middle Central. Well, we could pay him a visit. What exactly are you thinking of asking him, Mitra?
More curious about his business interests. Perhaps best not to ask him directly just yet. Might need to find a library or something. Look through some more newspapers. This Nalea was quite intent on finding out who hired us, was she not?
Yeah, she was willing to fucking feed me to a dragonfly over it.
I think there were multiple reasons for that.
Either way, to murder someone in your backyard.
Oh, hey, by the way, since you brought up the Sharn Inquisitive, I actually got an in with the city archive. An old friend of mine. We go way back, but Basically, if you go up there and tell them you're with Myriad Mysteries, they'll give you some access to some of their stuff there. I think they got a archive of all the inquisitive, uh, you know, papers.
Oh, perfect. Sounds
Public,
like an excellent idea.
public municipal information. Yeah, boring stuff like that. Sometimes it comes in handy, but it's a lot to sift through. Believe me.
That's why we got Jax.
Yeah, I'm like elated, but trying to pretend that I'm not. Like,
You want to pour through the archive? Be my guest. But yeah, you're trying to drink out of a running river, basically.
Mhm. Well, we have time, at least a day. I think it's worth investigating.
So what are you guys gonna do?
I'd say we go to the archives until evening time, and then we go pay a visit to hear it in the park.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's get to it.
you want to send a letter to what's his name or something?
Hear it or Vicar?
Bakar.
No, Mitra has suggested not questioning him directly yet.
Okay.
So where are you guys going?
The archives?
The archive.
Oh, okay. So you guys head out in the morning to Central Plateau. Take a lift up to Upper Central, up towards a specific tower known as the Vasha Tower. It's a sort of municipal building, much less fancy than the other estates and hotels you might find in Central. Just seems like a windowless rectangle. But you guys walk in. It doesn't seem busy at this hour. You can see that there are a few people behind a large forward-facing desk that has sort of like glass panes disconnecting it from your side. It's like a bank teller's booth, sort of. You know, where they have like the protective glass and everything. Behind it, you can see a dwarf with graying hair is filling out paperwork behind a desk.
Oh, hello. Good morning.
He looks up at you slowly, somewhat tiredly, and he's like, "Oh, hello. Welcome to City Archive. How can I help you?"
So we work with Jack from Myriad Mysteries. We're looking to browse through some old records.
Oh, Jack. Lovely. How's he doing these days?
Oh, charming as ever.
Yeah, he still owes me 50 gold. Make sure to let him know that.
I will be sure to.
Anyway, here. He puts a small key underneath a slot in the glass. Take that. Go through the door on your left. And what records are you looking for in particular?
Sound inquisitive.
Oh, you want the archive of the Sharn Inquisitive. Okay. It's in the back left corner. Labeled
Thank you very much.
Inquisitive Archive.
And we will head that way.
Alright, so you go through a locked door into a long hall with rows of shelves with carefully cataloged stacks of scrolls and tomes, all neatly organized. I mean, it's basically a House Civis member's like wet dream in here. Uh, so much information stored in here with labels above everything and everything sorted alphabetically.
That was supposed to be
Um,
my first question. Like, how well is everything organized?
exceedingly well. Like the archives of House Civis might have even been done by House Civis. You don't even know. Uh, but yeah, in the back left corner, just as he said, there's a large, like wall to ceiling, or sorry, floor to ceiling tall shelf with a rolling ladder in front of it that just contains issue after issue of the Sharn Inquisitive, all preserved in little boxes, each with a date or a set of dates on them. So there are like hundreds and hundreds of issues. Are you going to try and sift through all of them?
Well, not all of them. I don't think we can
Yes.
go back too far.
So,
Sift through a couple years.
most recent
See what.
years?
Yep.
So I want to look for anything about our guy, right?
Yep.
And Vicar,
Vicar
and
Convulsant?
yeah, and I want to look for anything, I guess, like Boromir stuff, or anything that has to do with the race.
Okay. So, I guess, do you guys all want to help in this endeavor?
Yeah, I assume we're
Yeah.
all here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd provide a guidance.
Alright. Each of you make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, god damn.
Okay. Remy and Ari, you guys take your own stack of papers and start sifting through them, but it's so mind-numbingly boring that you can't focus anymore. Like you just start sifting and sifting and sifting faster and faster through them, not absorbing anything. Just trying to get it over with as fast as possible. But there's just more and more papers. Uh Jax and Mitra, you guys are a bit more methodical and are, sort of speed reading through the headlines, but also focusing on the first paragraph or so of each article, see if you can pick out any names you recognize. You guys go through like the last 5 years of issues, and nowhere do you see anything about Vicar Convulsund. Not even Convulsund. Nothing.
I'm like
You see,
dying to roll an investigation check over here.
you find quite a few articles about the Boromar clan. Quite a few of them. And
Yeah, I bet.
none of them seem to be related to the race of 8 winds. The most recent article, though, is dated to just before the last race. So you assume that if there is a article being written about the most recent race, it hasn't been distributed yet.
It seems weird. It's been quite a few days at least.
It's been like 3 days since the race, I think. 4 days. 4 days. Was there anything else you were going to try and pick out?
Look for any mention of the Rainy Ironwood company, the family. Their
Oh,
trade dealing.
you're gonna look for mention of yeah, the Balira family.
Yes.
Okay, you do find mention from like 3 years back of one of the races of 8 wins, with Nalea being declared as the champion of that year. And there's sort of like a little interview at the end of the article where they ask about her family, and she basically just says that, you know, her family has been in Sharn for centuries. They'll probably be there for centuries after, helping to build the city with its ironwood supplies, which are imported from Aearnal, you take it, because that's the only place it grows.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That's about all you get of note from that article.
What other archives are in the room in here that I see?
There's some municipal records. So
Look
like
through that.
deeds of ownership of like properties, contracts, each of them stamped by House Civis.
Yeah, look up Vicar's business. See who it's incorporated under. Or something.
Do you want to try and look up Kavulsund within the municipal
Yeah,
records?
see if he's got any, how many businesses, houses he's got on record, anything like that.
Okay, that's going to be another wisdom saving throw.
Please let me roll investigation. It literally allows you to find obscure information in books, is what it reads.
But this isn't just one book. This is many books. Many books. Stacks upon stacks upon stacks of paper.
Thank you, Dice Christ. Thank you, Dice Christ. I appreciate you.
Okay, so you start digging through the other shelves, seeing what kind of municipal records they got. Eventually you find a set of land deeds, which are organized by, or alphabetized. Look under the K, find any properties owned by this Kvolsund. You find that there was somewhat recently, like 2 years ago, there was a property purchased within Ambassador Towers for quite a hefty sum money, approaching 700,000 gold. A whole section of the tower being dedicated to the Volsund Trading Company, what it's listed as.
Is that different from the address on his business card?
Yeah, his other
Uh,
place was Middle Central.
No, that is where it is. Ambassador Towers.
Oh, that's in Middle Central? Okay.
So it is the building that he's currently using.
Yeah. All the other records about the place are very vague. Don't really go into what kind of trading he does, if any. Um, uh, Another notable thing is that there are several names listed on the contracts besides Kavolsund. The ones for negotiating the price for the land grant. There's a number of other names in there. None of them here all that notable, aside from one, which is sorry, having to dig real deep in my notes here. This info. Where is it?
No, I'm a wizard.
It is a name that seems familiar because it is the High Priest of the Coronath. The Coronath, the Coronath is the grand temple to Kor Karan in the city. It's in Upper Central, and the High Priest is Halfan Riak.
Mitra wrinkles her nose. Also, can you put that name in the chat?
Halfan Riak is a name you maybe heard of a few times. I don't know how familiar you guys would be with the Coronath, but it's one of the biggest temples in the whole city. And definitely the most ostentatious.
Oh, I've definitely been there then. If it's bougie,
they don't actually perform many religious rites there, though, oddly enough, for a temple. Very rarely are there any major religious events held there.
Like Catholics.
It has a huge temple, like a basically a cathedral. But yeah, there are only a few events a year they might have an actual event within the Ornath.
Yeah, the twice a year vassals. Yeah, Mitra is not overly pleased. She continues flipping through papers.
That's all you managed to find about Kavolsund. The municipal records. Actually, nothing else about him, as far as you can tell.
Okay, interesting.
Is there any other inquiries you wanted to make while you were here?
Really weird that the high priest would be signed on his. I assume this is like a deed.
High
Yeah.
priest of the sovereign of trade, mind you, and commerce.
I looked. Are there any other documents that have that guy's signature on it? Calvin.
It would take you hours to pour through the other records, because you would have to pour through all of them. This is what you've done today is just pour through the ones that are in the K category. Take you basically the whole day to pour through all the municipal records.
I mean, that's fine.
Is that what the rest of you want to do with your day?
Yeah, Mitra will help him.
I mean,
What if-
we could always meet with Hewitt tomorrow. We still have a couple of days, right, until the Skyblades tournament.
Think we can order some food in or something?
Something tells me they don't allow food in here, but yes, we have time.
Okay, so Ari and Remy, I assume you guys leave?
Well, yeah, can we reattempt to join in the investigation, or are we just too mind-numbingly bored to do so?
You could try.
Talk to Bert too.
You could try.
I'd like to try it. My wisdom saves are too good for me to fail that pathetically twice.
I believe in you.
At this point, it's just a test of raw willpower to pour through this many documents.
You like take a break to go grab some food and bring it back and sneak it in.
No. I respect the archives rules. We eat outside.
So yeah, if you want, anybody can make another round of wisdom saving throws.
I will use a luck point.
All right. Big money.
There you go. There you go.
Hell yeah. 23.
Damn, nat 20 for Jax.
That was my nat 20 for the investigate or for the wisdom last time.
God damn. Okay, so you guys comb the municipal records, looking for every instance of this guy being mentioned. Alphan Riak. One of the ones that you find that he is signed to is the Kundarak Bank of Sharn.
Makes
He is
sense.
associated with. He has a mansion, apparently, that is actually in the same district as the Kornath itself. The Riak Mansion. Yeah, he is signed to almost every bank in the city. You are coming to find. There are very few that he is not signed to. And he's also signed to a number of institutions, one of them being the Brelish Museum of Fine Arts, and something called the Aurora Gallery. He's even signed to a couple properties all the way up in the Skyway. A couple of businesses up there, like a restaurant, hotel. Other than his association with banks, the other businesses he's signed to seem almost random aside from the fact that they're very high class and expensive businesses or very prestigious institutions. You even see that he's partially signed to Morgrave University, one of the wings of it. He's on.
Bristles with
yeah.
distaste.
Yeah, he's on dozens of documents.
So I guess it's not too out of the ordinary for a trading company, Ambassador's Tower, to have a sign-off from him.
No doubt he keeps a sharp eye out for lucrative opportunities.
Right. Yet somehow this lucrative business has zero mentions of what it actually trades in.
It's quite curious.
Go back and look for this guy up in the Sharn Inquisitor.
Oh, I did. I didn't see anything of his company.
Or are you talking
Calvin?
about Calfan?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
talking about
Calvin,
Calvin.
no. No doubt the High Priest appears in all manner of public affairs to promote his various interests. I don't know if we would find anything substance. Only the appearance he wishes to display to the public, no doubt as a generous benefactor of fine art and so on.
I wonder why he owns Vicar's house.
I will say also, aside from the Riak Mansion, every other property that has his name listed also has other names listed, but those ones have no correlation, it seems.
Yeah,
Well,
are
I
any of them
imagine
also Vicar? Like, is there another place that has Vicar and Calvin together?
No. The only one where you saw Vicar's name is on his business.
I would imagine he's a investor in Vicar's business. But the question is what Vicar offered him to make him interested. But I think it would be best to ask Pruitt about him, seeing
Yes.
as Vicar was the one to direct us to him.
Well, are you guys done with the archives now?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think we're done for the day.
So you put away all the documents you poured through, exit, and as you guys exit, you guys are each patted down by a member of the Sharn Watch stationed in there, and then led outside. Outside, it's dark already.
Yep, turn in for the day.
You guys got there in the morning.
It's been tough. My eyes hurt. No more.
Feeling some, like, chicken on a stick or something.
Yeah.
Well, what's the plan now?
Turn in for the night.
Go see
Yeah.
Kuro in
So
the
is the
morning.
Skyblades tournament tomorrow or the day after?
It's the
You
day
don't
after.
know.
We don't know.
I
Fruity
thought
was kind of
Kuro
vague
told
about
us.
it.
What?
Then we'll have to look it up.
All right. Well, let's do that tomorrow morning.
Yeah, if it's a big tournament, if it's an event, isn't going to be in the newspaper.
The latest issue hasn't been distributed yet.
Then
I
we'll
was kind of wanting
get
to
the
go to the
newspaper in the
newspaper
morning.
anyway. Yep.
So
pick that up tomorrow.
you guys are just gonna go your separate ways and meet back up the next morning.
Yep.
Yes. I would like to talk to Sai if I could.
Okay. She's available this evening.
Sweet. Hey, Sai. Um, you wouldn't happen to know any Boromars, would you?
Currently, she's disguised as a lizard folk, something like that. So it's hard to
Sweet.
read. So it's hard to read her expression, but she says to you, Don, why do you want to know?"
Well, besides the fact that someone I'm suspicious of is accusing me of working for them, I believe them to have some sort of role in the latest case. And I do know how much people like reading about them once they're finished.
Right. You have to understand, though, things are very precarious between my friends and the Boromar. The Boromar are not, well, at war with us per se. They don't like us either, though. They tolerate us. If they could, they'd probably wipe us off the face of the earth. Or Eberron. But they can't. So they allow us to do our operations on the condition that we don't interfere with theirs.
Hmm. Well, I have no intention in interfering with their business. But if they, well, maybe they may have been the ones to cause that crash during the race of the Eight Winds. I don't know if you were watching.
I don't really keep up with sporting events. Probably busy that day.
Hmm. Well, do you know anyone we can talk to? Or are you saying it's truly an off limits operation?
My advice is if the Boromar clan are involved, you should steer clear. Again, very delicate situation we're in with them, and my superiors would be rather displeased if one of our own was found snooping around in their affairs.
I see. Well, I'll try not to be snooping then.
Good. Should, stay here, have some fun, drink some wine, rather than
Oh, I
prowling the
wish.
streets like you do.
Oh, I wish, but to make gold, one needs to work. But perhaps tomorrow night, I won't need to get up early in the morning. So ungodly. But Thank you for all your help, Sai.
Look out for yourself out there. Seems like you've got some dangerous bedfellows.
I take care of myself, and we have this Warforge now. They're pretty tough. We got much better protection on us now.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to do with your night?
Nope. Now just gonna go to bed because I gotta be back at work early in the morning. Not trying to be useless.
Alright, so another night passes. Guys, once again, eat fresh and early at Maybe and Mysteries, where currently Jack is reading the latest issue of the Sharn Inquisitive.
Alright, what does it say on the front page?
It says big upset as fresh blood breaks champion's record.
Well, that's not wrong. Does it, make any of their own accusations about foul play, given the accident?
Let's see here. Says the Aerial Sportsmen's Guild has concluded their investigation. They have ruled that no foul play was committed, that the accident was tragic, so on and so on.
As expected, then. There's a mention of Leia beyond her, being the number 2.
It just says she finished in second.
Hmm. Oh, does it say anything about a Skyblade tournament sometime soon?
Oh yeah, there's a Skyblade tournament tomorrow. Why?
Oh, I think we will be attending.
Oh, you too?
Yes. I have a few questions for Senec.
Oh, this is part of the investigation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you need me, I'll be in the King of Fire, having some drinks. Putting some
Duly
money
noted.
down.
Well, best of luck. We'll have to see whether Senec's winning streak continues.
Did you say you were putting down some money?
Yeah, not too much this time. After all the money I fucking lost on the race, I'm trying to cut back.
Perhaps we could go with you ahead of time to make some wagers of our own.
Hey, if you want, be my guest. Could be fun.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Could at least have a few drinks together. As you're doing your investigation or whatever.
Both is good.
Does seem likely it'll be both.
It'll be after 5 o'clock, right? Yeah. Technically, if we're at work and we
believe
have
I've
beers,
heard-
we can use that as a tax write-off. We'll call it a write.
That's how that works. You should do my taxes more often.
Oh yeah, you get like $150 per person for each lunch. Only
What do you?
it has to be mostly food though. Only like 25% of it can be booze.
Oh, goodness.
The
What are your
intricacies of Brelish policy.
So what are your plans for today?
Go to the Skyblade tournament.
Not today. It's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
One of
Talk
the
to
best
hear
parts.
it.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Hear It. Hear It. He's in the garden.
Okay, that's in the evening, so you still have plenty of time.
Do we want to try and talking to Vicar today?
Yeah, we can go check out his big old $700,000 building.
Yes, let's see what he's willing to divulge of his interests.
By the way, 700,000 gold is like a lot more money comparatively to like 700,000 like US dollars.
Oh yeah, no, that's like a same amount of money that that's more money than a lot of towns.
It's
Most
crazy. That's crazy money. That's
And
eye-watering
he's only
amounts of money.
offering $1,000 for this.
Yeah.
I tried to get more money out of him, and he's a tight ass. Remember, I said, I think you could be paying us more money than this. Make sure we mention that today when we're talking to him.
I don't think he'll be interested in divulging if we're prying him for more money. Even if, yes, he no doubt has plenty to spare.
We could always discuss the money after we pry for information.
Also, what if
Yes.
he's the one who did it all?
Well, that's why we're questioning him in the first place.
He's probably not gonna fucking pay us if we catch him.
Well, as I've been telling people, our interest is the truth.
I need money.
Besides, either we find the culprit, and if it is him, he won't pay us. But if we stop under the assumption it's him, we'll never know, and then he won't pay us.
Sound logic to me.
You know, maybe he hired us because he thought we weren't going to be able to solve it, man. That's kind of an insult.
I actually think more and more it might be the family.
Certainly, if he is in theory a prominent trader of his own, so we can ask him about the Bayara family and their interests in the city.
Perhaps they even work together.
Quite possible.
Okay, so where are you guys going?
I'm going to the address on his
city.
business card.
Yep, Ambassador Towers.
So you guys make your way into Middle Central. Around you, you can see people in business suits going every which way. Some of them look, or actually a lot of them look foreign. Some of them dressed in odd forms of dress. You haven't seen in Brelin before.
Read my mind.
But there's also like, on top of the embassies that are in here, there's also a number of appears to be like luxury hotels, things of that variety, and some fine shops. But you guys make your way to a particular tower. Seems to have rows of businesses inside of it. It seems like one whole floor of this tower has been dedicated to the Volson Trading Company. It's unusual. The other floors had a number of businesses listed on their doors. But as you arrive at the top of the stairs, there's just a painted white door with a plaque that just reads the Volson Trading Company. And that's it. There's No other signage or anything.
Well, go inside.
Sure.
Knock on the door.
Few minutes pass. You don't hear anything.
I turn around and put my back to the door. Oh god. God damn it. I didn't pick it. I thought I did.
Gonna try knocking again?
Yep, Mitra knocks
Yeah,
again.
but I didn't prepare it.
After
Mitra
what
knocks with her hand, not with a spell.
after what feels like an eternity, the door opens. And standing on the other side is the man himself, Vikar, dressed in a long bathrobe, like a fine uh, satin bathrobe that sort of like reveals his chest. It's kind of open, and he's just wearing slippers on his feet. He's holding a mug of coffee. He's like,
Mitra will virtuously look away.
"Yes, what can I do for?" Wait a second.
Mr. Kavosin, we thought this would. My apologies. I thought this was a place of business, not a personal residence.
Sorry for the unprofessional appearance, I guess. You caught me at an early hour.
So we can certainly wait until you've composed yourself. We had some questions about business interests in the city. And you seemed like a ready source.
Sure. I was expecting someone else. I will be back in a moment.
Oh, no rush.
He closes the door.
I wonder who he was expecting while wearing a bathrobe.
You guys just wait there awkwardly for a few minutes, and then he comes back, opens the door again. This time he's dressed in the same fancy business suit he was dressed in when he met you guys the other day. Okay, come in. We can talk.
Thank you.
You guys walk in, and what you see is not like an office. It looks more like an apartment, a luxury apartment. Oh, one moment.
Oh, we're going back and knocking on the door.
It's his other guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find yourselves in a luxury apartment with like these fine fur rugs on the ground, and a large and lavish living area, a coffee table, huge couch, and a kitchen nearby. He approaches the couch and sits down on it and reclines. Go ahead, have a seat.
Thank you.
I sit on the nice fur rug.
As I was saying, we were expecting this to be a business office. Well, your home is certainly quite impressive.
Yes, it's good enough, I suppose.
How much do you think this place is worth?
Are you asking
Oh,
him?
yeah, just curious how much this place was worth. It seems pretty nice.
A couple 100,000 gold. Why? Are you buying?
Oh no, not at the moment. I was just curious. I like money. It's kind of one of my weaknesses in life.
Why? You have a taste for the finer things, I understand that. Not many people get to experience true luxury.
Especially people such
Indeed.
as myself.
But enough about my personal affairs. What progress have you made on your investigation?
We have reason to believe that Nalea intentionally threw the race when she was in position to win with poor Fennec's accident.
Fascinating. What do you think this has to do with Phoenix, though? That is, after all, the exact matter I wanted you to investigate.
The question is if someone that compelled Nalea also was responsible for sabotaging Phoenix's mount. It seems exceedingly likely that the mount was compelled by some spell, possibly a rarer form of magic.
You haven't
Which
deduced
was
what that could have been yet?
unfortunately not. There's no obvious sign of the spellcaster. I'm reasonably confident it wasn't Nalea or Sareg, but that would mean someone was able to cast at great range and discretion. And that's a rare feat.
So it sounds
You
like
have
you haven't
more
made any
theories.
major progress at all.
It's only been a couple of days, sir.
If you haven't made any major progress, why are you here talking to me?
As I said, interested in picking your brain on business matters.
Business. I
Nalea's
did not hire
family,
you to be business partners. I hired you to investigate a very particular case.
and we are investigating questions of motive. Nalea's family is a prominent trader in imports from Aranel. Yes?
Who?
Nalea, the elf woman, was second place in the race.
Oh, the one who finished sucking the place. I see. Her family. Traders from Aerno?
Yes, they import ironwood for. My understanding is they've been in the city for some time.
Fascinating.
Are you familiar with them at all?
No, not particularly.
Something we had considered is whether her family could have been responsible. But we're still considering multiple suspects.
Okay, well, if it had something to do with Phoenix's crash, then I would greatly like to know that, but if you can't prove anything, then I don't see what you're hoping to get from me.
As I said, we were curious as to your inputs on matters of business in the city. Whether the Belayers, the family could have hired someone or been involved themselves, given any penchant for magic, or if there are other interests in the city that would have an inclination towards manipulating the race for their own benefit.
I have nothing to offer in that regard. If I did, I would have mentioned it when I hired you.
I do appreciate that sentiment, at least. That is a pity. What is it you trade in, if I may ask?
Me?
Yes?
Oh, I don't really trade in anything in particular.
No, I
Do you
see.
mind if I use the restroom real quick?
Are you speaking as Caleb or as
Nope, in game.
wish to use my bathroom?
Yeah, I'm trying to hold it, but I just can't do it anymore.
Make a deception check? Or a performance check, I guess, either or.
14.
Raises an eyebrow at you and says, "Just around the corner there. A left. Points to a door that's not too far away.
Mitra
It's-
would like to. Sorry, go ahead.
It's within eyeshot of him. It's not actually a very big apartment. Well, okay, I should qualify that. It's big for an apartment, but it's not huge. Like, he can see from one end to the other.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just like going to the restroom and looking to see what I can see to learn about the guy.
In his bathroom.
On the way to the bathroom, through a hallway to look into a kitchen, anything I can see to just look around the room more.
Okay, make an investigation check.
And you could tell a lot about his, interior decorating and such.
Yeah, and his bathroom, like, how nice is his stuff in there? What all,
Okay. So as you're looking around, you can see that first off, place is spotless for the most part. Seems like he's got cleaners that come in regularly. His personal effects, you notice, like for instance, a couple of the books that he got laying around, they appear to be Carnathian. Just generally the way he decorates his interior, it has very Carnathian vibes, especially with all the wood furs used in the place. You notice that in his bathroom, sort of hidden away, crumpled up on the ground near where his chamber pot is, a wadded up pair of women's panties.
So dude's a player.
Other than that, you don't see anything of note.
Nothing out of place.
No, just a very rich, luxurious apartment. Seems to Carnathian decorations.
Too clean. Yeah, Mitra would like to insight him. She's been talking with him, skeptical of his disinterest in anything other than a brief bit of impatience.
What are you insight checking in particular? His whole demeanor or any particular thing that he said?
His demeanor and when he said he doesn't trade in anything. And his
Okay.
otherwise kind of laissez-faire, bored impression that he's giving. I'll spend a luck point.
Okay. As you're talking to him, kind of strikes you that this dude talks with a Carnathian sort of accent. And it seems like he doesn't read to you as a business guy. He's not professional. He doesn't care about being appealing to like clients or whatever. He's not trying to sell anybody anything. It seemed like he was being honest when he said that he doesn't trade in anything in particular. To you, this guy's reading more like a member of the nobility than as a tradesman, merchant.
Well, unless my companions have questions on matters of business in the city, I think we'll be on our way once Jax returns. By the way, will you be attending the Skyblade tournament? Will you be watching?
Yes, I was planning on it. I had a private booth already arranged. Why? Are you going to be there?
Yes, we'll be looking to question Sirig after the event.
Good, I hope it's fruitful for you.
As do I. Are
You
you going
just
to be will you be watching with other representatives of the guild?
of the ASG?
Yes. I assumed you
No.
have your post with some of the leaders.
No, I'm not. I know through it, but that's it.
I see. I would have expected someone close to the guild to be the reason they're willing to fund this investigation.
No, if I was part of the guild, I would have dropped this when they said that they were dropping it.
No, I see then.
Yeah, I can't remember, but why did you hire us to do this? I can't remember why you did that. Well, what'd you say again?
Well, it's to maintain the integrity of the sport, you know?
Just
Didn't you
certainly.
fucking incite that?
Do you want to?
I want Mitra to or somebody else to.
Yeah, Mitchell. Give him a stare. 24.
The way he said that, there's no way he gives a shit about the integrity of the sport. There's no way. That was a blatant lie.
That is very generous of you. Certainly not many in the city are willing to bankroll matters of mere principle.
Yes, I'm a very principled man.
Insight? No, no.
You don't need to roll insight to know that one's horseshit, too.
Yeah, I think he's full of shit.
So, may I ask, Vicar, what does your company trade?
I already told you, nothing.
Nothing?
Trading company that trades nothing. It's fucking genius.
Nothing.
Then what is it that's brought you to the city? I wonder.
And
I like
how do you
Sharn.
have all of this? I've seen what it takes to live like this for a day, but you seem to live every day like this. How do you manage it?
I just know the right people, I suppose.
Fair enough.
I like Sharn. It's a nice place. It's exciting. Lots of things going on all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I've only relatively recently arrived myself.
Oh, really? Where are you
Certainly.
from?
Metro.
Oh, my condolences.
Thank you. Certainly, I thought my home was a large city, but there is nothing quite like Sharn in the world.
Certainly not. Certainly not. But unfortunately, it's the kind of place where it's very difficult to find people, you know? Like finding a needle in a haystack.
And I
That's
suppose
why
it depends on.
people like you exist.
Quite so. It's a matter of what exactly you're looking for.
Yes, you're like one of those magnetic lodestones. You can pull that needle right out of the haystack.
Yes, sometimes it's a matter of just sticking your hand in and wriggling around. And that is why
Yes.
we're inquisitives.
Please continue to do so.
I shall. Poor Fennec is quite distraught over the death of his mount.
Yes, yes. When I spoke to him, he seemed quite distraught. Quite distraught. It's really a shame.
The works.
Well, it's good of you and Ruit to keep pressing this matter when others are willing to let it lie after only a cursory look.
Yes, I think the ASG. They are too stiff and rigid to get the necessary work done.
By the way, how did you come to meet the counselor?
Right? We have a mutual friend.
I see. Well, I believe we shouldn't take up your time too much longer.
Yes,
Yes,
where
my
is your
friend?
friend?
I thought he was already back at this point because he had asked the question.
His ass better be back by now.
Yeah. I came back. Right.
Excellent. Are you done asking me pointless questions?
Yes, I believe so.
Is he still wearing his rings?
Yes.
Do those rings mean anything to me?
You
Like from a
already
religious standpoint? Did I?
you already rolled a check the first time you
Oh, I
met him.
didn't know.
Or was it
Oh,
Mitra? It might have been Mitra actually. I think
I
Mitra was the
don't.
one who noticed them.
No, it was Ari rolled a check to see if any of the markings meant anything, and they came back as just empty rings.
oh, you're right. You're right. They were just blanket rings.
Yeah, there's no ornamentation on them, no gem, nothing. They seem very simple and plain. The only thing that's unusual is that there's 8 of them.
Hmm.
If anybody
Screw it.
else would
I'll ask.
like to, you could, or are you gonna just ask him?
Yeah, I
Ah,
will roll. We'll use a luck point to roll. Would
Okay.
this be religion?
It would be history. As
Oh,
far as you can tell, it's not religious. No religious
sure.
organization
I'll
that
just
has.
roll it flat. I mean, 8 is the sacred number of corn, but we're in the wrong setting.
Yeah, not familiar what that could possibly mean.
What is it? A religion check?
No,
History.
No, it's
history.
history.
Hey.
Nice.
So Jax,
I read
only
the book.
now do you finally Only now do you finally notice the 8 rings he keeps on each of his fingers. By that I mean he has one on each finger that isn't a thumb. Each of them silver, each of them plain. You've heard of these kinds of people before. This guy is a member of what's called the Aurum.
Uh-huh.
Aurum is an organization of sort of like a merchant's guild, but it's also a philanthropical organization where they do lots of charity, fund public projects, that sort of thing. It's just a collection of like rich assholes. Basically, you assume it's just a way for them to
He's
network
like a
with each
Freemason.
other. Sort of like a network for rich people.
Did you hear me?
But wait, what did you say?
So he's like a Freemason.
Kind of, I guess. Except it doesn't have the religious implications.
all about the gold.
Yeah, just gold.
What you do know is somewhere you heard that the material of the rings that they wear, which by the way, the rings are a symbol of membership. To keep one on each of your fingers aside from your thumbs, that is a symbol of membership in the Aurum. but the type of ring actually signifies a sort of rank within the organization. It goes from copper, silver, gold, and then platinum at the very top. His rings are silver. You don't necessarily know what that entails, but you know it means he's, well, more important in the organization than a copper member, but less important than a gold member.
Huh.
Sorry, I had to step away. I'm back.
Well, I imagine we will make our goodbyes at this point.
Okay. Vicar says, okay, please report back to me when you actually have something to report.
Yes, of course. Do have a good day.
You as well. Uh, exit his quote unquote business.
Delightful fellow, isn't he?
Um, as you guys are walking outside, you see a woman walking up the steps. A pretty human woman wearing a long silvery dress. Passes you up in the hallway.
Give her a look over as she passes by.
As do I.
Yeah, does she look familiar at all?
I'll say, Ari, you don't even need to make a check. You just recognize based on the way that she's dressed. This woman is, what's called an escort. Essentially, high class prostitute.
Ah. Oh yes, I know many friends in the business. Once, I assume like we're on the street again, she's gone inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share that. Yeah, high-end escort. I guess that would explain the robe.
Bit early
Seems,
for such, isn't it?
well, if you don't
Yes.
have a real job, is anything early or late?
Ugh.
The idle rich?
To say the least.
Well, so what do we think? Why do we think he's really funding this expedition?
Has Jax mentioned that he's a member of the Aurum to anybody?
Well, the guy's clearly connected. You've seen his rings, right? He's a member of the Aurum, but I don't know what the fuck that would have to do with any of this.
That means he's wealthy beyond a degree that our mere minds can comprehend.
I mean,
Honestly, it might just be that he's bored and finds this of sufficient interest to fund. 1,000 gold is nothing to him.
certainly, but I would wonder if the Aurum perhaps has deep ties to the money that is bet on. Perhaps someone or a couple of people lost a lot of money on this race, and if they can, well, prove it somewhat invalidated, given the
Well, they get
outside
their money back,
interference.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I don't know. He doesn't seem very invested in the outcome, merely impatient.
Is there a
Has
place
it-
we could find a listing of all of the official betting that was done on the race?
There is no official betting. There's no
Yeah.
office of gambling in Sharn.
I mean, best we could do is probably, you know, see what was, maybe talk to people at Kings of Fire. See if a lot of people bet on Simek, Klimek. What's his name? The halfling who won?
Sareg?
Sirig?
Clinic.
Man, I completely miss. Oh, it's Climax. Okay,
Nice. I'm thinking of somebody from a different game then.
Climax. Yeah. So perhaps see if a lot of bets were placed on Climax, or if the favorites were elsewhere.
No doubt they were. Well, Fennec was the favorite. And certainly someone cheated, and gambling is a reasonable incentive. And the
We should
question
try to
is-
find someone who's, wagered a lot of money on Klimek's winning. Because with him not being a shoo-in for victory, a large sum would look rather suspicious.
It's worth making inquiries at the tournament.
Well, where are you guys going?
I think we'll go to the tournament at the end of the day.
Well, that's tomorrow. We still
oh,
could.
right. We're still getting this mixed up.
Yeah, we still can speak to hear it in
Yes,
the
that's what we
evening.
need to do today.
And I guess, when do we plan on placing the bets with Jack? Will that be at night that we go with him?
Yep, it had to be after closing time.
Okay. So I guess we can. I mean, would we have. No, I don't know if we'd have enough time to, like, try and read up on the Aurum.
Hey, Caleb. Caleb,
Yeah.
there's white noise coming through your mic. Can you, change the
Dude.
sensitivity on your Discord settings? Voice settings? Okay, thank you.
Well, let's go speak to Hewitt then.
Okay. What are you guys gonna do till the evening? Just mess about the city?
Yep.
Is it still doing it?
No, not
No.
anymore.
Weird.
Okay, well, you guys get lunch, I guess. And once the sun begins to set, you make your way to the Shrine of Ilyana once again. Actually, I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
All right, gang. What theory are we filling still? We think the Aurum's involved now, or just Idle Rich?
Mhm. Seems more idle rich.
We know he was.
I keep forgetting I'm on push to talk. Why would he want us to investigate something that has already been deemed, oh, this was clearly no foul play, if he was involved in it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, but more so, do we think he's, like, acting upon orders, like, from someone higher up in the Aurum, or is he working independently? Like, I'm thinking big money is involved, in the sense that they want to get to the bottom of it. yeah, I don't think they caused it. I still think the Boromars paid off Nalea and hired someone to, or use someone of their own to influence Whisper.
Yeah, certainly possible.
What if Nilea's family are members of the Boromar?
Oh, that'd be a twist.
It would definitely be a twist for Ireniels to be in the Boromar.
Rich Ireniels at that.
What? Sorry, what were you talking about? I'm back.
I don't know, we were just giving our theories. Um,
Do you think he was just playing it off when we mentioned them? Like, oh, who are they?
Well, maybe, but seems like he's not really a businessman. Just a rich asshole.
a guy who gets to be rich, yet seemingly has no actual business dealings.
Must be nice.
What an interesting guy that Vikar guy is. Just a chill dude. I don't know why you guys are so suspicious of him.
uh,
Anyway, you guys make your way to the Shrine of Ilyana once again in the Overlook District. Find yourselves once again in the peaceful, tranquil garden, very top tower, where you can see that that old man in the monk robes trimming some branches, pair of what are they called? Shears?
Shears.
Yeah, shears. So is that blindfold on though? He's the only one there.
Good afternoon, sir.
He looks in your direction and then just gives you like a nod, slight bow.
Make sure we'll give him a slight bow back.
Not sure if he can see you, but seems to acknowledge it. Um, what are you guys gonna do? Just wait around for Shuit to show up?
Yep.
Alright, so you relax the garden for a bit. The old man doesn't actually seem interested in conversing with you guys. He just goes about his business tending the garden. You guys are just sort of sitting around. You can hear beating of wings. And a large breeze comes down from above as you see form of Fruit in as a giant owl crest downwards and gently land center of the courtyard. And he notices you guys and turns his little owl, or his, I should say, big owl head at you. Says, "Oh, hello there!
Good evening, Counselor.
How goes the investigation?"
Oh, progress, if slowly.
Excellent, excellent. What have you figured out so far?
We have significant reason to believe Nalea was compelled to throw the race, although we're still determining the nature of who and why.
That's terrible. That's terrible. She is such a. She's been such a good racer over the years. Why would she do that?
That is the question. She mentioned that you had already spoken to her on this matter sometime recently.
Well, yes, I approached her shortly after the race. I was supposed to question her about, what she saw during the race and all of those standard questions. We're still doing our investigation then.
How did she seem in the immediate aftermath? How soon after the race was this?
Well, I approached her the next day.
And how did she seem?
Seemed... You ask me, she seemed to be trying her best to not appear distraught. I think
Hmm,
perhaps accident with Phoenix took a toll on her.
I agree. If I may ask, you're questioning, so you're one of the members of the guild, one of the officials?
Right. I founded the guild, actually. Years ago.
Oh, I see. I did not know that.
Yes. I decided that I needed to be someone to oversee the races, ensure the integrity of the sport. So I have selected a group of judges that still preside to this day. I am merely one of 8 now. My status as founder gives me no more influence over the organization, though. I believe that it is important that no one member has too much power.
Quite reasonable. Certainly, with how rough the race is, I'm glad that there's some degree of a regulation. But,
Yes, before our time, you may not have seen them, but the races were quite deadly. Many accidents like one that happened to Phoenix happened regularly.
oh,
We,
goodness.
without practices, ensure that the race is much safer than it used to. Only occasionally do accidents like Phoenix's happen now.
That's fine. I can see now why you felt the need to find outside resources.
Yes, I respect the decision of the other judges, of course. But when Vicar approached me, it seemed like, well, it just didn't sit right. Conclusion. I felt it would be best if, we get a second opinion. And perhaps if we can get some solid evidence of something, then we could change the ruling entirely. Maybe we can get whoever this cheater is banned. That would
I'm
be
cer-
for the best. It'd be the safest for all the racers.
Indeed. I certainly remain confident we will find something. Did you meet a vicar from politics in the city, or something in somewhere in the upper city?
Vicar, he approached me. I actually had never met him before then. I didn't know who he was. He simply approached me with interest about the conclusion of the race. Of course, I agreed that the decision of the ASG didn't sit right with me. So, well, since he was the one offering to pay for an investigation, I thought it would be only right to assist in any way that I could.
I see, that certainly was generous of him and principled.
I don't
A rare
really know
thing
much about
in
the man
Sharn.
himself.
What else do we want to ask him?
Are you planning on investigating the race tomorrow?
Yes, we will most certainly be in attendance.
Sorry, race. I meant tournament.
I'm hoping we'll have the opportunity to question. Oh God, I keep forgetting his name.
The Max.
Namax?
Clinic.
Climax.
Clinic.
Oh my goodness. Like a clinic. I'm just gonna spell it phonetically.
Yes, Clinic is the only racer we've not questioned from the leaders.
How do you plan on investigating the tournament itself?
Well, we'll make our observations and see if anything interesting happens.
I was thinking perhaps it could be possible to, instead of giving you a bystander's perspective, maybe you could have a more up close and personal perspective of the tournament. if we're going to catch this cheater red-handed, it's best to have our eyes as close as possible to them.
You would suggest one of us participate?
I could arrange such a thing to happen, if you would desire it so.
I can't say I'm familiar with skyblading.
You're
Ah,
quite
but-
acrobatic, though.
But I can offer you a mount and a coach.
What exactly does the tournament event entail?
It's an elimination tournament. The first round will consist of a series of duels. One fighter and the other. Whoever falls off is eliminated. Second round will be much the same amongst those who survived the first round. The third and final round will be Battle Royale between the 3 finalists.
And what do these duels entail?
It's quite simple, actually. You've never watched Skyblade?
No, I'm rather new to Sharn, actually.
Rules are very simple. It's simply first be knocked off their mount loses. The participants are allowed to use melee or certain forms of ranged weaponry. However, magic is completely disallowed, as well as any other unconventional tactics.
Interesting.
And of course, we use blunted weapons.
Well, I would hope so.
I think we should all join.
It depends on. I was about to say, well, depending on if any who is or isn't interested.
That could be
Looking at-
arranged.
Looking at Jax's scrawny ass.
What
That's
about
good.
you, Remy? Would you be a duelist?
I'm no stranger to fighting. I
You're a
think
bit-
I could perhaps do this.
You seem a bit heavy, but I think I could accommodate. I should mention that I only have one mount to offer.
So between Remy and Mitra, who feels more comfortable dueling in the air?
That's entirely up to how invested you are in this idea, Remy.
Seem quite sturdy. I'll say that much.
I feel as though this is going to be rather high up, isn't it?
Oh yes, but don't worry, you'll be safe. You'll have a feather token, as all the racers do. Competitors.
Very well, I can do this. You said we use blunted weapons. Are they provided?
I can arrange some to be provided for you. Yes.
I don't
Very
know,
well.
who's the monk?
I'm
I
sorry.
forget. Which one of us was? Which one of you guys is the monk?
Me too.
Oh, that's Mitra.
Sure.
Well, do you want to go on a sort of test ride?
Yeah, I want to ride it.
Well,
I'm
not
not talking
you.
to Jax. He's talking to Remy.
Jax can ride with Remy. He's tiny.
I am small, thank you.
Would it be all right if Jax accompanied me?
Not during the tournament.
Oh, of course, I mean for the test flight.
What if I was just on his shoulders and we wore like a coat?
I think that's cheating, Jax, which is what we're trying to resolve with all of
Yes, we are not doing any of the cheating. We are trying to catch the cheaters.
Think about it. I could cast spells underneath the coat, though.
Yes,
We
that's
would
cheating.
definitely win.
Simply unacceptable.
We're not there to win, Jax. We're there to observe.
Now, just climb up on my back and we can go.
Oh, he'd be riding you in the tournament.
Well, I only have myself to offer.
Oh,
Don't worry,
okay.
I'm quite a smooth ride.
I don't doubt that.
And I can give you tips, tricks, anything you need.
Well, Remy, it seems you're quite fortunate in your choice of partner here.
I am confused. I thought you said magic was forbidden.
What magic am I using? I'm simply a giant owl. Of course, I will make sure no one knows during the race. Wouldn't want anybody to think anything strange about my participation. I don't normally participate in these events.
And they have no way to detect this magic?
Again, I simply don't understand what magic you think I'm using.
He's a druid, man. It's not the same.
I am a giant owl. That is simply what I am.
It's a fact.
No magic involved.
Fascinating.
Right. Remy is very confused.
Well, go on, Remy. Climb on his back.
All right, I will climb on top of the giant owl.
He, cranes his head down, make it easy for you to get on him. And, put your legs sort of, around where his wings are. And sure enough, he begins flapping, and you two go skyward. But I think that's where we're gonna end today's session. I'm gonna stop recording now.